It is the 19th of April 1905, and we are in Whitechapel, the East End of London. This is the place where a monster once stalked.
Gentlemen, this is precisely the reason I founded our society. Discussing murders over a glass of port is one thing, but today we become investigators.
So tell me, Doyle, how would your creature, the great Sherlock Holmes, conduct such an investigation?
Elementary, Odie. He would find a few strands of evidence and observe in them details the rest of us would miss. Alas, Holmes is a cannier detective than his creator.
Then how are we to pursue the Ripper?
Irving, you're an actor. How would you approach the role of the detective?
Perhaps by imagining clues in one single location, thus encouraging their hidden connections to become evident.
Sir, we are in your capable hands.
Then we shall make for Berners Street to start with. Shall we begin? Welcome to the Red Lodge. It is here you can begin your quest for the Ripper. Take a carriage ride through London. Keep hold of this item to begin your journey.
You have to remember that London in 1888 is a powder keg waiting to blow. London's population had expanded hugely. In 1800, London had a population of around 1 million, but in just 80 years it had more than trebled. This is a time of political unrest, as the working class and poor protest against appalling conditions of dense overcrowding, appalling lack of sanitation, infectious diseases were rife. The response of government to local protests and lawlessness was harsh. Now, into this chaotic condition comes a new, fearful menace. Somebody is stalking and murdering women in the most foul, sexual, and terrifying way, and the city's poor are the most vulnerable to attack. No wonder then that the murderer looms large in the public imagination as a figure of the abject, a figure of the other.
See where the Ripper's victims slept. Keep hold of this item to visit the Doss House.
Well, you have to remember that if you were the poorest of the poor, then a penny coffin was one of your few options for a night's sleep. It was called a penny coffin because you rented a wooden box with a bit of filthy tarpaulin. Such rooms were full of boxes, laid out on the floor, more like a mortuary than a hostel. One such Doss House, as they were called, was in Flower Street, and that was where the Ripper's victims would often stay. So you can see it was no wonder that you were driven to drink.
Examine a Dear Boss letter. Keep hold of the item to enter this scene.
The media not only reports the story, but they actually become the story. You see, letters are sent to the press, and they're signed by Jack the Ripper, and the name sticks. And we now know that these letters were written by a journalist trying to stoke up the story. This isn't the first or the last time that a murder has been used by the press to sell newspapers unethically. However, the From Hell series of letters, those may well have been the work of the real Jack.
Examine the weapon the Ripper used. Keep hold of the item to enter this scene.
Yes.